How you doing, everybody? It's Wardy here, and we're back at it breaking down the latest in Mets land. And I know, just like each and every one of you, I'm patiently but anxiously waiting at the same time what is going to happen with Juan Soto. And we will be live later this evening for a full Juan Soto watch party to get into with our special guest, Draftneck Mark. So be on the lookout for that, folks, barring changes, because maybe we're going to find out where Soto's going to land prior to that stream starting. Either way, be on the lookout, folks. Big show tonight like we have had every single night throughout these sweepstakes. But in today's video, we are now going to highlight the Mets reportedly targeting multiple starters here, from Nathan Eovaldi all the way to Nick Pivetta. Let's break down 4 pitchers now for the Mets that they are currently reportedly linked to as of the latest piece from Ken Rosenthal working with Wolf Salmon, who we just had on the platform 48 hours ago in our Big Mets Update segment live show. And right as he came on, Clay Holmes signed with the Mets. So he had a dip after not even like 10 minutes of being in, and that was fine because breaking news happened. Hopefully we find more breaking news on the horizon for the Mets this evening, everybody. But smash a like and subscribe on as your first chime in. Let me know your initial reactions to the news that the Mets are targeting Nathan Eovaldi, Walker Buehler, Nick Pivetta, and Jack Flaherty at minimum. And yes, they are still actively involved in the market of Sean Manaea, the Simone Southpaw. We're going to deep dive all these players and the potential that they would bring or lack thereof to the Mets, everybody. But before we do, and after you smash those buttons, thank you all so much for hearing a quick word from our amazing sponsor here at BetUS. For those that don't know BetUS, everybody, let me enlighten you, because they are America's #1 sportsbook, and they have you covered with all your sports betting needs, all by going to betus.com.pa today and using Wardy's promo code YouTube150. That way you too get a 150% bonus on your first deposit, and then $125 on your second and your third, up to $2,000 for whatever your sports betting needs may be. And as you guys can see, they have all the current odds for Alex Bregman, Corbin Burns, Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, Max Fried, Pete Alonso, where they're going to land if they do not in fact return to their most previous team. So Alonso, if he doesn't go back to the Mets, where's he going to go? Currently the Nationals have the most favored odds there at plus 400, which I find interesting to say the least. If you guys want to hammer any of these bets the way that I'm going to be hammering Justin Verlander to make a reunion there potentially with the Detroit Tigers at plus 300, I like that bet a lot there for the reunion. The same way I like Max Scherzer honestly going back to the Nationals. I think that makes a level of sense for both of them as well. Okay, it's going to be at least a maximum of 10, so we're going to put down a $10 bet that's going to win us hopefully 30 total, and good luck to everyone that tails these bets. Please know that I'm not a sports betting expert, just a diehard fan that loves to place bets here with BetUS. Now, folks, as we hop back into this one, let's deep dive all the latest here on the following, and let's begin fairly briefly with a player that we've already highlighted on the platform over the past week and a half or so, and that has everything to do with Walker Buehler. So I'm not going to beat a dead horse here, everybody. Walker Buehler is certainly a pitcher that I'm in heavy favor of for the Mets to land. Yes, the baseball savant peripherals aren't that pretty. This is Buehler's first season coming back from Tommy John surgery. This man was dominant for 3.5, 4 years with the Dodgers, a Cy Young caliber pitcher in their rotation for a number of years. Now coming back from injury, an inflated ERA past 5, but the expected numbers look better. We saw how dominant he looked in postseason play for them, ultimately closing it out against the Yankees in the Bronx to win the World Series there in Game 5 of the World Series. We see Walker Buehler with that fastball. You got the cutter, the sinker, the changeup, the slider. The man has a 6+ pitch mix. He's got a lot of different pitches that he's utilizing, and that sweeper especially looked gorgeous, had a lot more movement, was looking beautiful throughout the postseason. And what history has shown us now, the data rather, is that when in colder climates, Walker Buehler has had more success because he's getting more movement, and it's in favor of the type of arsenal that he has. Pitching in and not a batter's park, but a pitcher's park like Citi Field, especially with how chilly it is for the first couple months, and then what it will be certainly if they have a deep run come October. Walker Buehler makes a lot of sense as a World Series champion, signing a short-term deal, likely not with the Dodgers, now hopefully here with the New York Metropolitans. A guy to add to this pitching lab that I think Germany, Hefner, Desi Drewskull getting their hands on would do wonders with, and trying to get the best out of him on a short-term deal, similarly to what we saw in Luis Severino and Sean Manaea from a season ago, everybody. And let's also not forget that when it comes to Walker Buehler, he has been one of the more impressive guys in recent years in his ability to stay composed. When I remember all the outings that Walker Buehler has had against the Mets, against others in years past, he's always looked so calm, cool, and comfortable out there, and was always one of those guys that I kind of questioned, why was Walker always as good as he was? He felt like one of these guys, honestly, that was going to kind of fall off a cliff after a little bit, but he really hasn't. Buehler has been pretty steady throughout his career, sitting right around a 3.27 career ERA and over 700 total innings. So it's not like the guy has been consistently dominant for the most part, because he has been, but now it's about getting that fastball velocity continued back, that arsenal how he wants right. And the second year coming off of Tommy John surgery, similarly to Frankie Montas now in his second year coming off of now his shoulder injury rather. I think we're going to see things continue to trend in the right direction for Buehler as he continues to get bouncing back for the past year from TJ. The same way we're going to see Montas there now with the Mets from his shoulder, among other reclamation projects that the Mets are signing. Not that Buehler's a big reclamation, but we know that he's not going to ink a long-term deal even after winning the World Series because of the uncertainty that he has for some clubs that maybe don't have a pitching lab and don't know how to get the best out of Buehler and his abilities, everybody. So now let's go from Walker to, in my opinion, the most favorable free agent option for the Mets, and not named Walker Buehler in many ways, and that is the veteran right-hander Nathan Eovaldi. Guys, I love Nathan Eovaldi. This man is nothing short of, in my opinion, a certified dog, okay? Nathan Eovaldi now going to be 34, 35 years of age. I do have the graphic wrong there. I apologize. He's not 31. He's 34 right now, so I have the age wrong on that one. But Eovaldi, even at 34, turning 35 over the next year, he has been consistently dominant as one of the better right-handers in all Major League Baseball. A multi-time World Series champion, not only recently what we saw back in 2018 when he was traded from the Yankees to the Red Sox. They're not crosstown rivals, but AL East rivals there big time, to then seeing him win it all there with the Texas Rangers back in 2023. He still has insane velocity, a guy that used to touch in the hundreds, now sitting there mid-90s, touching high 90s when he's really unloading the gas tank, and he gives you innings, and on top of it, a fantastic K to walk ratio, which is what I think is very important. A 3.8 ERA, a 3.86 expected ERA in 170 innings, 29 starts this past season, 8.6 K per nine, but at 2.2 walks per nine. Eovaldi has consistently dominated the strike zone. The last time that he had at all an inflated walk rate is going all the way back to the 2019 season. Since then, he has steadily sat right there, right around the 2 walks per nine each and every year, if not lower. The guy is tremendous on commanding the zone. He's tremendous on getting consistent quality outings of 6-7 innings. He's a complete bulldog out there. It honestly reminds me in certain aspects of his former teammate in Max Scherzer. When healthy, again, these guys are absolute bulldogs. They're strikeout machines, and they're huge playoff performers, which we have seen Eovaldi do at the biggest stage, not just with the Texas Rangers, not just with the Boston Red Sox, but also the New York Yankees. Why is that important? Because David Stearns has had an emphasis on landing guys that know what it takes to win in New York and understand the big market, the media that comes with it. Eovaldi has been a part of big market organizations, big postseason performances for years on end. There is nothing that he isn't familiar with should he sign with the Mets on a multi-year deal, and he is absolutely a guy that I would give a 2-year deal to with a potential 3rd-year option, hopefully an option that's more favorable to the Mets than Eovaldi, given that he's already going to be 34, 35, but especially on the shorter term end, high AAV, this is, in my opinion, one of the most favorable options for the Mets to consider this offseason. I'm very happy to see that they're actively involved in his market. Hopefully we see the Mets land the veteran yet still coveted right-handed starting pitcher coming out of the American League. Now, everybody, let's go from Nathan Eovaldi, who, if I didn't emphasize already when looking at that mix, you got the four-seam fastball, the splitty, the cutter, the curve, the slide piece. Look at the baseball savant numbers. They are a thing of beauty. He was in the 90th percentile in off-speed run value, 87th percentile in chase percentage this past season, 82nd ground ball percentage, 81st in walk percentage, 87th in chase percentage. What stands out a lot about Eovaldi is his dominance there still with the whiff rate, especially when you look on his usage here with the splitty, had right around a 37% whiff rate there last season. Pairing the splitty with the sweeper is a thing that can certainly work greatly for Eovaldi, especially at this point in his career where we know David Stearns loves the guys with the splitties, the sinkers, the sliders, the sweepers, the triple, if not quadruple S's, as we like to call them on the channel. That would fit the mold nicely for David Stearns and company and what the Mets are trying to build to the rotation. Less long-term contracts in which you have to give up comp picks, and knowing that the guys are likely not going to profile well after a couple years versus getting similar, if not same value out of guys on short-term end, knowing that you're just being strategic and smart about your spending. Not that you're trying to penny pitch, just being smart and not necessarily giving every top ace out there an inflated contract because you feel the need to. We are not the LA Angels. Let's not start acting like them. Nathan Eovaldi would love to see you in Queens, and hopefully not a team like the Angels, literally. So now let's get on, folks, to our next pitcher here, and this one is honestly the one I'm most pessimistic about. Nothing personal against him at all, but it is in fact Jack Flaherty, folks, and there is some solid reasoning as to why I feel this way, because Jack Flaherty is coming off of a fantastic season this past year, like a really, really good season with the LA Dodgers. But one of the bigger gripes that I personally have with Jack Flaherty going from the Detroit Tigers, where he was simply unhittable in the first half of the season, to then the LA Dodgers to win it all with them, win the World Series, is that Flaherty's, again, baseline numbers are tremendous. A 3.17 ERA, a 3.51 expected ERA. The advanced peripherals aren't terrible, but they're not great either. But 194 strikeouts, a roughly 11 K per nine to a 2.1 walks per nine. Yeah, sign me the heck up for that every single day of the week. But the reason why I have some pessimism with Jack Flaherty has everything to do with how his fastball projects throughout the course of the season. That fastball, which is not lively much to begin with, obviously we know he's more of a soft tosser and has to work on those off-speed and breaking pitches to get really solid swing and miss, which he can do well. The problem, though, is that we saw throughout the course of the year for Flaherty, as we got into postseason, he really struggled mightily outside of one start to hone in, and the Mets took care of him like batting practice, which he certainly was in Game 5 of the NLCS. And not to say that Jack Flaherty can't bounce back from those playoff performances, but I think there's something to be said about how not only the Mets and other teams approach Flaherty throughout postseason and his lack of continued success he had there versus the regular season. So Flaherty on a shorter term end, 1 or 2 year deal, I'm not opposed to at all, because at the end of the day, even Jack Flaherty at his worst is still a back end of the rotation option for you, and at his best is a frontlining option for you as anywhere from your 1 to 3. So Flaherty, who I do not at all foresee to be an ace caliber starter for the Mets, could easily come in and give the Mets right around a 3.5 ERA next season. Hopefully a bunch of punchies, and again, another guy that when he is right and healthy does command the strike zone unbelievably well. To see again a north of 11 K per nine to right around at 2 walks per nine is nothing to scoff at. He deserves endless credit for his 2024 run, but I do think that there is some skepticism as to if he can really replicate this again consistently, or is this more so of him having kind of a bounce back year, what is another walk year for Flaherty, and really thriving with the Dodgers with his hometown team growing up there, and now we're going to see him come back down to reality. But in 2025, we will soon find out. But the Mets are active in Flaherty's market, and when we look at Jack Flaherty and the baseball savant numbers, again, they are not ugly at all from this past season. 98th percentile in breaking run value, 91st that we see in whip percentage, K percentage in the 90th percentile, walk percentage 83rd, 74th there in the hard hit percentage. He's got the four seam, the slider, the curve, the changeup, and the sinker. But what's going to be very important for Jack Flaherty as well is to make sure that he can continue to get the strong swing and miss that he has, because when you have a lack of velocity the way that the guy does there, for a man that currently sits there at right around 93 miles per hour on the heater, you have to be reliant there on your slider getting that big swing and miss, especially in tight counts. The curveball, the changeup, and the sink piece, which I wonder the Mets would utilize more should he be added to this Mets rotation, as they do like their sinker, splitter, sweeper guys. So that's all we need to say there on Jack Flaherty. Everybody, let me know your thoughts on him. And last but not least, a pitcher that I'm honestly very intrigued by, but given the fact that he has a compensation pick tied to him, is why I think the Mets will be most reluctant to land him, and that is a former Philadelphia Philly turned Boston Red Sox over the past couple years. And yes, Nick Pivetta, everybody. Let's talk about Nick Pivetta, because this man has been quietly one of the sneakier right-handers in Major League Baseball the past couple years. Was both a starter and a reliever for the Red Sox this past season. Was even utilized as a closer, where he dominated with that nasty breaking ball. His curveball went in his right. This past season, though, Pivetta, working with that fantastic lab that's been built greatly over the past year in Boston for pitchers, posted a 4.1 ERA across roughly 150 innings, a 3.59 expected ERA, a just over 4 FIP, a 3.3 SI ERA, and Pivetta is a sneaky option to be a guy that would be perfect for the Mets, because he fits a guy that can not only enter a 6-man rotation should they go down that route, he also fits the mold as a guy that the Mets can defer to as both a starter and a reliever, and do it at a quality rate. Think Trevor Williams, think if not better there when looking at the strong swing and miss stuff. Because again, a north of 11 K per nine to a 2.2 walks per nine, dominating the strike zone is Nicky Pivetta, which we love to see. That is absolutely fantastic. And throughout his career, he has been consistent on commanding the strike zone, posting a 3.3 career walks per nine, so right around a 10 K per nine there for Nick Pivetta. Furthermore, I have a detailed breakdown of Nick Pivetta that I'm going to read word for word from our pitching contributor on the platform, that is Isaac Rothman. Check him out on X at ISAACGROFFMAN for all your pitching threads and pitching analysis needs. Isaac contributes to the platform weekly here on WardyNYM and on our socials there at the WardyNYM X platform there. Check it out. But he likes Nick Pivetta a lot, and this is what he has to say on Pivetta. It is the following, and I quote: Pivetta's fastball has always been a standout pitch on paper, averaging 19 inches of induced vertical break (IVB). It boasts some of the best rise and run fastballs in the game. Additionally, it carries a +7 baseball savant run value and a stuff plus rating of 107, which means he's 7% better than the average pitcher in baseball in that category. However, its 21% whiff rate is below average, which could be attributed to a couple factors. First, he throws the fastball almost 50% of the time, making it predictable for hitters. Second, his high arm angle means that the rise it generates is somewhat expected by batters. Pivetta's secondary pitch arsenal is limited. His sweeper is effective with a 35% whiff rate, but is only utilized 26% of the time. To elevate his effectiveness, I would recommend adding a sinker and a changeup to diversify his pitch mix. I tend to agree, especially there on the sinker front there, which I'm sure the Mets may consider with someone like Pivetta. And as we take a look as well as to everything that you're getting through Baseball Savant from this past season with Nick Pivetta as multi-pitch mix there, everybody, it is going to be as follows there. 82nd percentile in extension, gets a lot of extension for a guy at a towering 6'5", so makes sense. 88th percentile in K percentage, 80th percentile in walk percentage, way down on the barrel percentage. He did get barreled hard last season when he was hit. 65th percentile in chase percentage, fastball velo just below league average at right around 94 miles per hour, but expected batting average in the 75th percentile and expected ERA 71st. Nothing to scoff at there. Four-seam fastball, sweeper, curve, cutter, and slider. That curve, like I said, is deadly. It was utilized around 10% more the past couple years than what it was this season with the new pitching lab that they have there with Kyle Bodie and everyone else in company there for the Boston Red Sox. So Pivetta, again, I think there's a lesser likelihood because he has compensation pick tagged to him, because of course Boston had to give him the qualifying offer. I was so mad when I saw that happen because I meant that it was a lesser likelihood for the Mets to land him. But no less, even if the Mets do go out of their way to land Nick Pivetta, especially with a comp pick, no, it's for great reasons. It's because of the diversity that comes with Pivetta and his arsenal, his ability to be stretched as both a reliever and a starter, and by having plus stuff with a fantastic, consistent K to walk ratio, similar to what we saw in Nathan Eovaldi, which would bode unbelievably well for this Mets rotation, and to a greater extent than what we see Jack Flaherty, because even though Flaherty had a great season last year, he has not consistently been as dominant there in the zone with the walk rate as he's dealt with a number of ailments in recent years, everybody. But that is all we got to say on the latest Mets pitching targets. I'm sure the next time we'll speak will be the latest on Juan Soto later this evening, everybody. So until I see you for our big live segment at any point, please make sure to smash that like and subscribe button on your way out. Let us know your key thoughts and key takeaways in the comments down below. Which pitcher out of the four do you hope the Mets land this offseason? And would you like to see them land one of these pitchers to pair still with Sean Manaea? Do you think that they're fine with one more and that's about it? I think the Mets still need two pitchers. I think you do too. I wouldn't be opposed to really any two of the four that we talked about today, or one of them pairing with Sean Manaea. I think would be an awesome thing to really round out this rotation. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And until next time, have a fantastic rest of your night, day, evening, whenever you're watching this. And this is your guy Wardy signing out. Let's go Mets, baby. Peace.